Students, a very good morning to all of you and welcome to the class once again. Students, today we are going to begin a new poem by the poet Keki Andarwala, and the title of this poem is Fire Hymn. The poem Fire Hymn delineates the thoughts of the poet when he observes a funeral pyre at a ghat. Ghat here means the cremation ground. When body is burning in the fire, it's a half burnt body, its bones are visible, and the surroundings of that ghat gives a weird look. When the poet watches the scene, he remembers some past incidents. And along with remembering these past incidents, he ruminates over the life, the nothingness, the meaningless existence of human being on this earth. So let us come to the text of the poem. So let us read the first stanza. Burning heart erupted phosphorescence, and wandering ghost lights frightened passer-by, as moonlight scuttled among the bones. Once, strolling at dawn, past river banks and ghat, we saw embers losing their cruel redness to the grey ash that swallows all. Half-cooked limbs bore witness to her fire's debauchery. So the poet is there and he delineates the scene that is there before his eyes, and he says that at that place a special kind of weird phosphorescence is there at these burning ghat, these cremation grounds, and people, they pass by these burning ghats where the lights are lit, the fire is burning, and what happens? The burning ghats erupted phosphorescence, and wandering ghost lights frightened passer-by as moonlight scuttled among the bones. So these people, they used to see glow of light moving round, and they considered it as the tricks of ghosts to frighten them. The moonlight that created an illusion of movement also made the surroundings look fearful. Once strolling at dawn, past river bank and ghost, we saw embers losing their cruel redness to the grey ash that swallows all. Half-cooked limbs bore witness to her fire's debauchery. There were bones lying scattered all over the burial ground. At dawn, once, the poet had walked along his father, and they passed by the river bank and ghat. They saw the embers slowly losing their red glow and turning into grey ash. Everything was being turned into grey ash. They saw the half-burnt limbs of human beings. Those half-burnt limbs bore witness to the destruction and devastation caused by the fire. The fire never showed any discipline in its character. It is not kind towards human body. The poet says, whatever is offered to it, it fully burnt up and turned everything into ashes. According to him, the fire doesn't sympathize with anyone. Human bodies, which once could preserve a lot of faculties, were considered powerful is thus found fully transformed into a heap of ashes. Here, in this stanza, the poet is depicting the burning ghats to remind us about the meaninglessness of the life over this earth. My father said, "You see those half burnt fingers and bone stubs? The fire at times forgets its dead." A Zoroastrian I. My childhood fingers clenched into a little knot of pain. I swore to save fire from the sin of forgetfulness. So in these lines, poet is telling us a past incident. Once at dawn, the poet had walked nearby the burning ghat along with his father. His father showed him the half burnt fingers of a body being lying scattered in that heap of ash. There were also bone stubs. He told to his son, means the poet, that the fire showed certain forgetfulness in the matter of burning the whole human body and transforming it into a heap of ashes. The poet, who is a Zoroastrian by belief, he remembers the fire hymn. He felt pain. He had taken an oath to save fire from the sin of forgetfulness. He felt the sight of the burnt fingers of human beings, which was a sight to be always remembered. Since his childhood days, the poet has been carefully preserving this memory. Next he says, it never forgot. And 20 years since, as I consigned my firstborn to the flames, the nearest tower of silence was 1,000 miles. The fire hymn said to me, "You stand forgiven, broken yet rebellious. I swore this time to save it from the sin of forgiving." The poet remembers in these lines a very sad incident attached to his own life. He further says that what was this incident, students? This incident when his firstborn child, his son, he died, and he near about 20 years ago, and he had to offer this son to the fire. Why? Because the Tower of Silence, where Parsis put the dead person after death, it was far away, and so he had to burn the body of his child. He had to cremate it. That was not in the Parsi beliefs. And once again he remembers the fire hymn. He imagined that fire hymn was offering him a message. It said that he stood forgiven because, according to Parsi beliefs, according to Zoroastrians, they couldn't burn the body, the dead body. It had to be put at the Tower of Silence after the death. Therefore, he says that he became desperate and also rebellious. At that time, when this incident happened, he took another oath. He wished to save fire from the sin of forgiving. The change from forgiving is worth noticeable. The poet does not want the tendency of his mind to be forgiven, altogether destroyed by fire. He does not want to forgive the cruel nature which allows fire to turn a human body to a heap of ashes. So, the poet here describes one of the very sad incidents of his life, and the poem is gloomy in the nature. Death is a shocking reality of human beings. The awareness of such a possibility of destruction makes a man feel helpless. All his hopes, beliefs, and his self confidence while being alive that he considered as permanent become meaningless at the time of death. The transformation is so abrupt that one wonders why people consider life as most valuable. Along with death, life does its relevance, and only destruction awaits the physical self. The poet draws our attention to the fire's debauchery, which cannot be prevented in any way. The inevitable nature of death is reminded only when one witnesses such scenes of debauchery. Life, with its jealousies, hatred, humiliating woes about the existence, etc., deserves such type of destruction. Man is not immortal. He cannot preserve anything which is associated with life. So, death makes the human body a detestable object, and therefore it has to be offered to the fire. In the poem, students, the poet has successfully depicted the cruelty of death and cruelty of the fire. So, the poem here, the textual analysis of the poem comes to an end. Thank you very much.